Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Adam here, and I'm here with a sort of a show idea that I've been thinking of, and I'm hoping to implement it. This is Florida Waters Weekly. This is a weekly review that I'd like to do every Friday, where I sit down and discuss the water issues facing our state. And there are plenty of them going on, so there's no shortage of material. What I'm hoping to do is sort of bring everything together, because there's a lot of things happening that are sort of isolated from each other. Um, Unfortunately, this first episode will be very heavily on the Sable Trail pipeline, so I won't really be following my true aim in this first one. But as I do a few of these, we'll be talking more about Lake Okeechobee. We'll be talking more about Indian River Lagoon, Tampa Bay, places like that. I hope you all tune in and come and watch me as I sit here and talk to you about what's going on here. So today, I'm going to really be focusing on my observations from the different spots on the Sable Trail pipeline I visited this week. On Wednesday, I took a group of people from Pasco County out there to look at the pipeline that extends from Highway 50 down to US 27. And we actually saw a lot going on there, a lot of activity. We got to see a lot of the actual physical pipeline. The roads that run along from there, actually, the pipeline goes very much alongside of them. So we got a really good view of not just the pipeline itself, but sort of the timeline that the pipeline is on. And so later on in my discussion here, I'm going to talk about what those things that we saw, how they play into what we may be doing moving forward. So I want to kind of review what we saw so you all know. And if anybody lives in that area, I want you to have the information so that you can get out there and check out the site and do your due diligence as a citizen. Okay, so like I said, we start on State Road 50, and that site is really like right on the boundary between Sumter and Lake County, and it's on a utility easement. And so what we saw there is they're starting to get it into the ground. If you look north from there, it is not in the ground, but I know that they're coming down from Denellen, so they're probably in the process of laying those down, coming that way. Heading south from 50, we used a road called Sloan's Ridge Road. And the pipeline went right along this, and we actually found a dirt road that came off of it at one point. And what we saw there, and just a quick reminder, you can see all these videos from Wednesday. They're posted on Safe Water Waters Now, or So Loco Pasco is one of the podcasters. The other is Baboon Room. They also post some videos. So back to what I was saying, we can see the pipeline actually being put into the dirt, and I have a picture of that posted on Safe Water Waters Now Facebook page. So we saw basically nearing the completion of putting the pipeline into the ground, and then as we headed further south, there were different stages where there would be areas where they'd be laying it in, and then there would be a gap. So they had different teams working, and so there were various degrees of the pipeline being finished that we witnessed. South Bay Road is the road that comes off of Sloan Ridge, and we saw really early stages there. Basically, the area had been cleared. We didn't see a whole lot of pipes actually in place yet there, so that's a sign that they're a little bit on the behind side at that spot. We saw some activity at the crossing of State Road 33, so we're heading south and east from Highway 50 where we started, and we saw activity there. But then again, that activity was not necessarily pipe in ground, but they were actively working. Then County Road 474, which comes off of 33, driving along that, the pipeline actually goes right along that, and that also was sort of in the earlier stages. Then we went to the US 27 crossing, and interestingly enough, what I saw was not entirely different than what I had seen when I had visited there 11 days ago, or 11 days prior. But you can still see the pipeline coming through, and it's going right behind people's houses. We visited Magnolia Glen, the neighborhood where I talked to some residents. And in fact, I visited them again today as well. And but anyhow, they are now trenching that out and placing the pipe into the ground. And then as you kind of move south and follow the trail, there's an area of West Side K through 8 school, which is a West Side Drive, Florence Villa Road, and it's also becomes Goodman Road as it heads towards Reunion. Now, what we saw there was continuation, still building it up, and they have actually started working in the swampy area on the east side of Goodman. So we're seeing progress there. Then there's we went to County Road 532, basically went all the way to the compressor station, and the compressor station has not made a whole lot of progress. It seems to me right now like it's more of a base camp where they've got a lot of things, parked there, and it's just kind of an organized camp type of place. But you don't see any structures going up or anything like that. So what we also saw was, in comparison to what I saw from Wednesday to Friday, Wednesday we saw the workers out there working nonstop. They were just bang, 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 working their butts off. When we went out today, no one was out there. So I'm assuming that they are out for the holidays, which is great news for us, because that's anything that stops the building of the pipeline is a positive. Every day we gain is another day that we have in our favor. So it appears that they probably will not be working again until at least Monday, possibly not even until Tuesday. So we've got ourselves a little gap here that if you're interested in getting out and making a difference, right now we've got a little breather where we can start jumping in and doing something. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those options as I finish up here. But one of the things that I also noticed was that at these different places, there are areas where we can go and, take pictures, walk around, just kind of cause, just not even cause a scene. You just want to be out there and make your presence felt. And as soon as a citizen walks by these areas, it seems like they are under directive to take pictures and to literally stop what they're doing and talk to each other and decide what they're going to do. And you don't have to do anything threatening. I don't advise that you do. But all you have to do is just go out there and, look around. And if somebody comes up to you, you should ask them, hey, what's going on? Do you have the appropriate permits? Can you show me some of the things, we need to see? And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So we have, in some places, the pipeline in ground, which is bad news. But we have other places where the pipeline, they don't even have pipes at the site yet. So there are still a lot of battlegrounds open here in Central Florida. And I really want to draw attention to what's happening here, because there's a lot of opportunity here to make a huge difference in this pipeline. But we don't have a lot of motivated people in this area who want to come out. And, granted, these sites are 30, 45 minutes from Orlando, and, they're kind of out in the country area, but, there are populated areas along the Sable Trail pipeline who, are being threatened by this. And so as it becomes more and more complete to the north of us, we need to be looking to see what we can do here in Central Florida. So the plans, well, we're looking forward, what we're going to do, we want to draw more attention to Florida as a battleground state for the pipeline issue, period. And I've been talking with Jim Grey Wolf Petruzzi and other members of the Standing Rock Resistance, and there's a lot of interest in helping us here. And in helping us here, I also want to make sure that we're bringing attention to other battleground places as well, like Big Bend in Texas, Iowa, Utah. There's a lot of places that need attention. But right now, I'm focusing on Florida. And so Florida is definitely a battleground state. It's a hot spot, especially in the battle against the hydrocarbons. So, the progress that I'm seeing when I go out to these places is a lot further ahead than a lot of people may perceive. A lot of you all who are watching these videos or following along on the internet, there are places where the battle feels like it's lost. But then again, there's other places that I've seen recently where we clearly have an opportunity to get out there and slow things down, do something to make a difference. So as we start to organize here in Central Florida more and more, hopefully we'll be able to attack that. And that's something I want to try to get done sooner than later, because this is a strike while the iron's hot type of event. We need to be getting out there and doing this right now. Like I said earlier, just being out there does a lot. They get really distracted by us being out there. So even if you just want to go out and just take pictures, and you don't want to be a rabble-rouser, you're not looking to cause any trouble. All you want to do is, get some pictures, see it for yourself, because seeing is truly believing. Just stopping by and doing that, you still are helping out what we're doing. You're helping us document it. And in a little bit, I'm going to talk about what you can do if you want to help out with the documentation efforts. So I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing. So next Monday, I'm going to be going with Anita Stewart, who is a representative from the west side of the state. And we're going to go from Highway 50 north up to an area called Coleman, which is near where Interstate 75 and the Florida Turnpike intersect in mid-north Florida, south of Ocala. And so we're going to go to a few sites, including Center Hill and Denellen, where we've been hearing a lot, and seeing what the progress is there. And one of the purposes of this trip, and one of the things that we're trying to do by getting people to go out and document and just stop by these sites, is that way we can have some reconnaissance information. We can have an idea of where they're working at, where they're not working at, where they're making progress, where they're not making progress. All of that information is vital to what we're doing. So if you feel like you can't really add anything to the movement, by going out there and documenting what you see, going to these different sites, you have done something to make a difference. You have given us information that is going to help us plan and do things, go through our peaceful, nonviolent protests the correct way. So, like I said, we're going to be doing a little trip up the northern part of the center, or I guess it's really the center part of the Floridian part of the Sable Trail Pipeline. But that's an area that's actually been quite neglected as far as, attention. The media has not made any mention about it at all out there. And I've just been hearing from individual citizens, people who private message me, or people who reach out to me through other methods. And, they say, hey, I don't like what's going on here. Please help us, and please help us get our word out. So that's what Anita and I are going to be doing on Monday. Now, I was talking about going out to these sites, doing this recon, having your presence out there. Elena Marshall is the Central Florida organizer, and I will be sure to put some tags and such on the video when I'm finished. She has a chart that she's devised where we've got days of the week, and we've got different sites where people can mix and match when and where they want to go if they want to make sure that they're getting to, they're hitting up all the different spots. So we've got a sense of organization going here. So if you're interested in going out and just, like I said, just stopping by, spending a couple minutes, at these sites, looking around, taking pictures, get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to do what I can to make that happen for you. So let me look at some of these comments real quick. All right, so, I've got a whole bunch here. So, all right, thanks. All right, I got New Zealand here, Tampa, awesome. And will the Orlando Sentinel take an interview with me? I don't know. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I would speak with them if they asked me. I got a Spain. All right, thank you. And let's see. So, Alan. So what can people from Florida, or people who are not in Florida, do to help out? Let me get back to you on that one in just a bit. But so for now, people who are in Florida, who are in the area, so if you want to drive over from Tampa, or you want to drive up from Sarasota, or from Fort Myers, if you want to come up from Miami, whatever, there are places you can go to see the construction And we're working on getting a camp set up in the area. That is something that we're having some trouble with. So if you're out there and you live in Osceola or Polk County, or near the Kissimmee River, we are looking for a piece of property to start a spirit camp on. And it will be done in the same model as North Dakota and the Standing Rock, and we will have the endorsement of the Standing Rock organizers. So please get in touch with me if you have or know of any property out there that could be used to create a peaceful drug and alcohol and weapons-free camp. All right, so if you can pull that through for me, I'd be extremely, extremely appreciative. So one of the other things about going out and being active is talking to people, and that's something I had sort of a self lesson today while I was out with Elena and Haley, two of our water protectors here in Central Florida, and the importance of talking to people, engaging people when you're out and you're doing your activism. That's where the biggest difference is made. I was taking a look at the compressor station area, and this gentleman, I wasn't even advertising myself as a person who is involved in the water movement, pulled over to the side of the road, started talking to me, and we had a very, very, very fruitful conversation. Same with the neighborhoods. When I go through the neighborhoods, people are out. I always engage them, talk to them, ask them, even if you personally are not a pipeline expert, you still are able to empathize with people. You still are able to make a connection with people. So you can go and just ask them, hey, how do you feel about this pipeline here? How do you feel about it going through your backyard? Or how do you feel about it, going close to this school? Or how do you feel about this? And just engage them. And a lot of them will be very, very, very grateful that you open up to them, because they don't really know where to go to or who to talk to. And even if you don't have answers for them, that connection is something that is really important for what we're doing in the long term. So that's my little preach on that. So I want to go over some things I want to make sure that you all know to do if you're going out to these places, and because really you don't want to go out and just check out the place out and do something dumb and get arrested. Being arrested is for civil disobedience that is well planned out and has a defined purpose. You don't want to get arrested for no good reason. But when you're out on site, obey the law, and that means not just criminal law, but traffic laws as well. So don't park in the middle of the road. Make sure that wherever you are, you're out of harm's way. Don't be running in the middle of the road. A lot of it's common sense, but sometimes in the passion of the moment, we sort of look past those type of things. But I want you to be cognizant of that. Remember to remain peaceful and nonviolent. And really, I would add positive to that too. When I'm out there and when other people are out there, we'll wave to the construction workers. We'll smile. When the cops come up, you be very friendly with them, and you'll be maybe you won't be surprised, but it really goes a long way when you are exuding that positivity, and you're not acting as a threat. And anger at this point in time, what we're doing, anger isn't really helpful. And kind of what I mentioned before, don't be afraid to engage in conversation. Foreman comes out from the construction site, go up and talk to him, see what he'll say. And if you prepared yourself, maybe you can ask for specific documentation. But don't be afraid to engage. It's not illegal to talk to people. Record and document. So, some of our smartphones will actually tag a location that you take a picture or take a video. Others don't. So just be aware of the technology that you're working with and the media, and, make sure that you're writing things down, recording it. And then once you do record them, what you want to do is, I've got and I can post this as well, but I just want to have it here. Let's see if you can see that. So maybe you can take a screen grab or something, but this is where you want to send the stuff that you think may be in non-compliance. And I got this from the representative from the Sierra Club here in Florida. So if you want that, go ahead and let me know, and I'll be sure to get that to you. Hold on, let me check some comments here. Okay, yeah, all right. All right, so Alan, let me get to you. Let me answer your questions here real quick. So, where are you? Outside of Florida, when it comes to the Sable Trail, if you're not able to come here, what you can do is, so Standing Rock, we do have a fundraiser that Standing Rock is supporting. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. A lot of information that I'm drawing here is from my website, which I just posted in there. Let me see about pulling up this for you. Here we go. So this is the main fund, and this fund is going. This fund is run through a nonprofit organization. That's the organization, SOTEM, and I actually sit on that board. It's completely transparent, so any money that you donate will get to the appropriate place, and I'm a real stickler about that. So that's one way you can help. Another way you can help is, this goes out to everybody. Like I said earlier, this program is more about Florida as a whole and not just the Sable Trail pipeline. So one of the things I want to make sure I talk about before I start to wrap this up, and I'm going to go back on to the back into the comments here and make sure I answer everybody's question. But first of all, if you have not signed the Now or Neverglades petition, I want you to sign that right now. And that doesn't matter where you are in the country. You need to be signing the Now or Neverglades petition. The end of story. We need to be supporting our friends to the south. The south part of the state needs help too. And if we can all join together and work together and support each other, we're going to get their help with what happens up here in the northern part of the state. We're going to help them with Lake Okeechobee and the Everglades. And together, United Florida is going to make a much bigger difference than what we've been seeing lately. So I implore you, please, I have it here in the bit here. Please sign the Now or Neverglades petition. Please do it. And if you're wondering what it does is it compels Senator Joe Negron to send the water south of the lake, effectively keeping the water from pouring out the east and west to the coast on each side. And you probably heard about the sludge and the algae and the nastiness that spreads all the way up to the Indian River. We need to stop that. So Now or Neverglades is crucial. We need everybody's signature on it. Even if you're not in Florida, sign that petition. And then also here in Florida, we have bullsugar.org. And Bull Sugar is a great organization that it's a grassroots organization that's doing a great job at keeping Big Sugar at bay. But they need all the support they can get because Big Sugar is big. And they've taken some hits in the media lately. And they need all of our support. So please support the Now or Neverglades petition and support bullsugar.org. Now let me get in here and see what we've got going on. So I see that we've got a lot of media coming, a lot of support. That's great news, Alan. I appreciate you conveying that. And, hopefully we'll get that together. I'll talk, in fact, a short bit after I answer something here about what we're trying to do here. So the drone laws. The drone laws are not entirely clear. I do know that they were forced to ground a drone up north in state parkland. They were told by authorities that they were not allowed to fly drones in state parks. I have not been able to corroborate or check the veracity of that, but that's the extent that I know of that. Otherwise, it's kind of hit or miss in different municipalities and different counties. So, it's one of those things where you have to check your local ordinances. I have a buddy who is who just got himself a drone, and he's a great photographer as well, so he's all over Central Florida. And he's, you know, he has some issues in different places that he goes, so he just plays it smart. So when you all get down here and you all want to do the drones, I know that drones are usable because we've got several great media folk who have made some great videos with drones so far. This is definitely usable. So we'll come back to that when you all get down here. Let's see. So Lisa Branda. So you tell me that in South Georgia, there's some areas that are not going back to work until February. That's really interesting. And actually, that's something I'm going to have to check into. I get the feeling that that's not going to be the case here in Florida. But I would look into it. But there's this, you could kind of sense the fervor that they were working with when we have seen them work in the past, and maybe they were just trying to get everything done before Christmas break. You know, I don't know. You know, cross our fingers, maybe they do. That wouldn't make sense why they would do it, but that would be a big, big plus for us. So thanks for letting me know that, and I'm going to follow up on that to see if that's any help to us. And yeah, so that, again, Alan, you've told me about Kevin Gilbert. We will definitely make that happen. All right, so I think I've got everybody here. Let me see if anybody else is. Okay, and Lisa Brenda says, I think they were told not to fly. That's very possible that they can't. Yeah, so Lisa, I think, so some of the areas in Florida, even though a lot of the areas in Georgia are also sensitive, the area in Florida, the Springs country especially, is extremely delicate. So that I know for sure that they are in a rush to get it in there. So you also have a little bit of an exposed portion of the aquifer in your southern part. They were probably doing the same thing there. So I think that's it for me. So nobody else has any other things they want me to talk about. I feel like this was a successful first episode. So I want to thank everybody for joining me here. It looks like I got up to 17, 18 watchers at any given time. Next issue, which will be next Friday, I promise to have more Florida stuff, like more general Florida stuff. I promise to have some Jacksonville, St. Augustine. I promise to have some East Coast, some Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Naples, Fort Myers, Sarasota, Tampa, and then, you know, up in the Panhandle. I want to get everything in here. So if you have any tips, if you are aware of something that's going on that I should know about, please send it. You can send it to me by a personal message if you're a friend of mine. Even if you're not, you can. Sometimes I miss those initially, so bear with me. Or you can actually send it to my Save Florida Waters Now page. You can send a message, and I will be happy to spread whatever word needs to be spread. So, hey, thanks, Alan Costa. Merry Christmas to you, too. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Solstice, happy everything, happy life to everybody.